weeks ago, I made up some taco al pastors using an authentic recipe online, and they were absolutely gorgeous. And that I used pork butt, and we cut that into thin steaks and put it on a skewer and put it in the rotisserie and rotisserie those up, and they were just delicious. But I wanted to make something more suitable for freeze drying with that in mind, because those were delicious, but they had way too much fat on them for my liking for freeze drying. So today we're going to use an authentic Mexican marinade. We're going to use an authentic Mexican marinating sauce, and we're going to use a different cut of pork later on. But first we need to make up our marinating sauce. So what we're going to use for that is everything I got here. We'll just go through the directions as I go. Guajillo chili pods. We're going to need about, I'm going to cut this recipe in half because I made a huge batch when we rotisseried it. About 7 of those. Guajillo. I got these all from Price Chopper. They're available at your local supermarket. Guajillo chili pods, dried. Then we're going to use 2 ancho chilies pods. And a couple of dried or bowl chilies. This is optional, but it's going to add a little bit of heat to the recipe. What we need to do is soften those chilies up and get rid of the seeds. So what I'm going to do is cut these open. Like this with my scissors. We're just going to get rid of the seeds on the inside. See, they're full of seeds. If you don't get all the seeds, it ain't important. And we're throwing them into a pot as we de-seed them. All right. And these are bowl chilies, the hot chilies. We don't need to de-seed those. We're just going to throw those in there. Now I got half of a white onion. We're just going to cut that in quarters. And peel that up a little bit. And throw those quarters in there with the peppers. Just like that. And there you go. Let me get some water and I'll be right back. Now we're going to add enough water to this to cover those chilies. Alright, those are ready to start. So what we're going to do is put this on high heat and bring that to a boil. Once that's boiled, we'll reduce the heat to a simmer and let them simmer for about 10 minutes until the chilies are all nice and soft. So I'll see you in about 15 minutes or so. Once this comes to a boil, I'll drop the temperature and simmer it for 10 minutes. I'll see you then. Okay, that's been about 10 or 15 minutes of simmering. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Get rid of that noise. Now these peppers are lovely and tender now. We're going to pop those in our blender. Along with our onion bits. Alright. So, while that's cooling down, let's go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients. 6 cloves, no, I'm cutting this in half. 3 cloves of garlic, which I'm using minced garlic, and about a teaspoon of minced garlic is the same as a clove, so 3 teaspoons of minced garlic. One chili pepper, chipotle pepper in adobe sauce. So we'll open this can up and dig out one of those. Going into the blender. 1 tablespoon of pork seasoning. You can use any seasoning you like. I got this naked seasoning for pork. 1 tablespoon of that. One teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. That's a tablespoon. 1/4 of a teaspoon of Mexican oregano. If you don't have Mexican, you can use normal oregano, but I splurged and bought some Mexican oregano. So 1/4 of a teaspoon for that. There's 1 clove of, I don't have an eighth on here. 1 clove ground up. So I looked it up, and 1 clove is about 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground cloves. So I'm going to put 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground cloves in there. I'm going to put 1/2 a teaspoon of ground cinnamon in there. Now I got this small tin of crushed pineapple. It's a 8-ounce tin. I'm going to go ahead and put the whole 8 ounces in there. And And pineapple juice, I got this pineapple juice 6 fluid ounce can. I'm going to put that whole can in there. And last but not least, I ended up having to get this off the internet. I'm sure you can find it other places. Achiote paste. Pasta de achiote. 1 tablespoon. So that's about a tablespoon there. Isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty close. Just break that up into there. Alright. Now we're going to put the lid on this and get that blended. If we need to add more liquor, we'll take it from our stock, what we boiled our peppers in. That's just a little bit thick, so I'm going to go ahead and take a scoop of this chili stock and add that to that. Once we get it to the desired thickness, we want to let that blend for about 2 to 3 minutes, and that's going to make a really, really fine paste. So I'll see you once it's totally blended. Okay, there we go. Now what I have here, this was on sale at my local Price Chopper for, what did we pay for this? $2.99 a pound. It is called Pork Country Style Rib Boneless Steaks. So, and it looks a lot leaner than the other. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our marination sauce, put a layer of that in here. We take our pork ribs and get them all coated in that. And we're going to pour some more sauce over the top of that. Just spread that out. Make sure everything's covered. Take my second pack. So it's a total of, I got 2 pounds there. I think this was 2 pounds as well. That's about 2.5 pounds total. Hopefully I got that out, yeah. All right. Take this and pour that over all the rest of that. All right, and then what we're going to do, it's about 9 o'clock at night. I'm going to stick this in the fridge, covered. Overnight, and tomorrow morning, when I get up, I'll come back and we'll put this in the crock pot. And we can have these ready for dinner tomorrow evening. So, there you go. That's pretty easy preparation, really. Let's get that in the fridge, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Good morning. I'm all blurry-eyed and just out of bed, but I want to get this in the crock pot for dinner tonight. So these have sat in the refrigerator overnight, at least 8 hours. I'm going to take these, if I can get them out of here, and drop them in the crock pot. Just like that. We'll put our sauce in there. Now what I got is a can of pineapple rings here, a small can, 8-ounce can. That sauce is really good. Really hot now, but that will get meld together after it's cooked. So I'm just going to lay these pineapple rings on the top. There's 4 of them there. All right. So we'll put our lid on, put it on low. That's all there is to it. I'll see you in about 8 hours. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Okay, can you smell that? I've been smelling it all day long. This has been cooking for 8 hours on low in the slow cooker. We're going to pull our pineapples out because we're going to use that for a sauce that I'm going to make later. We'll just set those off to the side. And let's see, oh yeah, this is lovely and tender. Look at that. It's just falling apart. Perfect. Now we're just going to shred this. Not in too fine of chunks. We want nice big chunks, but bear in mind that we are freeze drying this. We want it thin enough chunks that it will absorb water. And we still get a nice chunky piece of meat. Look at that beautiful tender pork. Now if I come across any fat like that, we're going to get rid of it. And there, I mean, there's fat on this, but nowhere near what we got from the pork butt roast. So I feel more confident about freeze drying this and getting some kind of storage out of that. Just look at that. That looks beautiful. All right. Now I'm going to put the dividers in first this time. That way we can kind of do it in the portions. I don't have to try and cut through it with the dividers. And we're going to make 2 trays of this. Look at that beautiful meat. And I'm thinking 2 squares of this can make probably 3 or 4 tacos. All right, and I got all that left over for me to have tacos tonight. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this juice and we're going to kind of spread it over this so that when we rehydrate it, that'll give it a little bit more flavor, is the plan. There we go. That should give it a nice, good base to draw into that meat when we rehydrate it. All right, so I'm going to let these finish cooling down. We'll transfer them to the freezer, get them frozen solid. Once they're frozen solid, we'll pop them in the freeze dryer, and next time you see them, they'll be coming out of the freeze dryer. I'll see you then. And here we go, the climax of my 3-part series that I hope you followed along with for my taco al pastors. We made these fresh, this meat. We tried roasting it, a pork butt, and it just was too fatty for me. So we went with the slow cooker and a more leaner cut of pork. But it came out tasting delicious. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 squares of these in each pouch. One baggie of salsa verde, unsealed, so that the O2 absorber can take care of any oxygen in there. And 1 baggie of crema, what we call the pineapple and lime crema, all going into the pouch. Both of the little Ziploc bags are unsealed, and that's it. We'll set that off to the side. I'll pack 1 more for you to see on camera. 1 square of meat, or 2 squares of meat. I'm guessing we'll get about 2, 3, or maybe 4 tacos out of these. I just break it up a little bit in there. A little baggie of salsa verde. And a little baggie of pineapple and lime crema. I'll get the rest of these packed off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, I got it all in the meal pouches. So now we're going to open up our 300cc O2 absorbers. Got a gnat flying around. We're going to drop 1 300cc O2 absorber in each pouch and go ahead and Ziploc that shut for now. Alright, those are all Got their O2 absorbers, their Ziploc shut. Let's put our sealer on. I set mine about 125 on this. Somewhere around there. Let that warm up and I'll be right back. Alright, our green light's gone out. That tells us it's ready to go. We just throw a quick heat seal on here. I look for that to melt all the way along. I know it's good. That's all there is to this. So let me get these sealed and I'll be right back. That's all there is to it. Alright, so we're going to let that cool down. We'll leave these out for a couple days just to make sure everything goes all right with the seals on them. Then we'll put them away for long-term storage. And next time you see me, we'll be doing a taste test on one of these, probably tomorrow afternoon, because it's kind of late at night now when my cycle finished. And so we'll see you then. All right, who's ready for some taco al pastor freeze-dried? Let's get this pouch open and see what we got. Really curious to see how this comes out. Alright, there's my O2 absorber. My salsa verde. My crema. And we're left with our pork in there. Now we use 2 squares, so I'm going to put, we'll look at putting a half a cup, 2 quarters. Let's see where we're at. There's 1 quarter. There's 2 quarters. Zip that shut. We're going to let that sit for 2 minutes. And while that's sitting, that's hot boiling water from my Keurig. We're going to go ahead and start on our, this is my crema, pineapple and lime. And we're not going to measure that so much as I'm going to just add a little bit of water to that. And I'm just going to gently add water to that till I get the consistency I want. And this is cold tap water. That looks pretty good. Now my salsa verde. Just a splash more. I'm going to go just a little bit more. I'm going to make it on the runny side, because that is kind of like it came from the jar. Right, now I forgot to time this, but I'm guessing that took me close to 2 minutes, maybe a minute. We'll just open this up and see how it's getting on. We might need to add some more water to that. No, we don't need to add no more water. Ooh, that smells good. Oh yeah, that's good. All right, so I'm gonna let that sit 2 more minutes and I'll time that. So I'll see you in 2 minutes. Okay, that's been about 2 minutes, so let's go ahead and get some of this ready. Let's make a little presentation of it. That's good. All right. Let's dish out our pork. Put our sauces on there. Now I have to microwave these for about 15 seconds with a towel in between. I think it's time to make some tacos. Shells are kind of big. Put some plenty of meat on there. I'm going to try and divide this up so I got like 3 tacos. Ooh, that looks good. A little bit of salsa on there. A little bit of crema. Now we could fill that up more. I'm going to go ahead and make this like a burrito, just because it's a lot easier for me to eat that way. All right, there's one. All right, let's dig in, see what it tastes like. Okay, first bite with shell. Mmm. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Mmm. Mmm. Oh my gosh. There is no way that you would think that these were freeze-dried. No way. Oh man. That salsa verde and pineapple lime crema is just delicious on this pork. Mmm. That pork is so tender, not dry at all. And that's because we used leftover marinade, for want of a better word. When we cooked it, we topped it all off with that marinade, and that all soaked up into this pork when we rehydrated it. It is absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't be happier with that. Mm. These toppings came out perfect. The salsa verde and the pineapple and lime crema. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Well, what can you say about that, John? You would never guess this was freeze dried. Never, never in a million years. I am super happy with this. 100%. This is delicious. Pretty easy to make. So I'd encourage you guys to just dig in there and get together and make you some taco el pastores that I made into a burrito. But delicious. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you get enough inspiration from it to try this, because it is delicious and you're going to love it. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Oh man, that is good.